July 1958, Holyhead Road, Coventry. On the Alvis production line, craftsmen roll out a machine that looks like someone has bolted a tank turret onto a car. 6 wheels, a low-slung welded hull, and 11.5 tons of armor riding on rubber tires instead of tracks. In the turret sits a 76mm gun that, for an armored car, is shocking. A weapon that can demolish a light fortification at more than 2 kilometers. The officers from the Royal Armored Corps who came to inspect it smiled politely and then frowned. Armored cars carried machine guns, maybe a 2-pounder for luck. This carried a gun that could make a building disappear. It looked ridiculous. It looked wrong. It would go on to serve on 4 continents, fight in more wars than almost any other British armored vehicle of its generation, equip armies from Jordan to Kuwait, and stay in service for more than 6 decades. Its name was FV601 Saladin, the last great British armored car. To understand why anyone thought a 6-wheeled car needed a 76mm gun, start in 1946. The war had ended, the Empire had not. Britain still policed territory from Malaya to the Middle East, sweeping deserts and jungle tracks that required fast, reliable vehicles that could run hundreds of miles on poor roads and still bring enough firepower to settle a village fight. Tanks were too heavy, too slow, and too damaging to the very roads imperial administrators needed to keep intact. Armored cars offered mobility and cheaper logistics. Britain had built fleets of them in World War II. By 1946, though, those wartime cars were obsolete. Their 2 PDR and 6 PDR guns lacked the high explosive punch needed for counterinsurgency, bunker busting, and fire support against infantry and cover. The 1946 requirement asked for a 6x6 reconnaissance and fire support vehicle. Alvis of Coventry, long famed for fine civilian cars, became the design parent alongside the Fighting Vehicles R&D establishment. The original specification was conservative, a crew of 4 and a 2-pounder, but common sense and combat experience intervened. The 2-pounder's high explosive performance was negligible. It would not flatten a mud brick compound or dislodge a machine gun nest. Fort Halstead's armament design establishment was ordered to develop something better. The answer was the 76mm L5A1, a low-pressure rifled gun firing fixed ammunition. Its signature ammunition type was HESH, high explosive squash head. Unlike a shaped charge or a simple HE shell, HESH uses a plasticized explosive that smears against a target surface on impact and then detonates, sending a shock through the plate and producing lethal spall on the interior face. On concrete and light armor, the effect is devastating. Against infantry and cover, HESH or canister shots turn the turret into a giant shotgun. The L5A1 gave the Saladin flexibility, anti-personnel, anti-structure, and capable of dealing with light armored threats, with a compact, low-recoil package suitable for a wheeled vehicle. A political and operational delay probably saved the project. The Malayan emergency, 1948, forced an urgent need for armored personnel carriers. The FV600 family's chassis was adapted into the FV603 Saracen APC and rushed into production. The Saladin itself was pushed back. That delay allowed the final production model to carry the 76mm gun rather than the obsolete 2-pounder the early schedule would have forced on it. When the Saladin Mark II began full production in 1958, it carried the gun that defined its service life. The vehicle is a study in pragmatic detail. Combat-loaded weight is around 11.6 tons. Length, with the gun forward, is roughly 5.3 meters. Width is about 2.54 meters, and height is around 2.4 meters. Power comes from the Rolls-Royce B80 petrol engine, an 8-cylinder unit producing in the order of 170 bhp, deliberately built with a low compression ratio so it could run on poor quality fuel found around the world. It couples to a Daimler epicyclic preselector gearbox, giving 5 forward and 5 reverse gears, a useful trait for a reconnaissance vehicle that might need to back out at speed. Top road speed is about 72 kilometers an hour, cross-country roughly 48 kilometers an hour, and the 240-liter tank gives a sensible operational range. Mobility is matched by survivability. The hull is welded steel with glacis plates angled to increase effective protection. Maximum thickness is roughly 32 millimeters on the frontal arc and thinner plating elsewhere. That level of armor was chosen to defeat heavy machine gun fire and shell splinters, not to slug it out with main battle tanks. Independent suspension on all 6 wheels, run-flat tires, and epicyclic reduction hubs give redundancy. The Saladin can keep moving with multiple damaged wheels.
The crew is compact, the driver is centrally forward, and the gunner and commander are in a 2-man turret station. The commander doubles as the loader in British practice. Ammunition stowage is generous for an armored car, about 42 rounds of 76mm and very large stocks of 7.62mm for the coaxial and bow guns, giving sustained combat endurance. And then the Saladin went to work. Aden in the mid-1960s is where it proved itself in the ruthlessly practical sense that matters to soldiers. Units of the Queen's Dragoon Guards used Saladins for patrol, escort, and base defense. In street fights and ambushes, the combination of machine gun volume and the 76mm HESH effects proved decisive. In the Radfan and Sheikh Othman operations, crews reported Saladins taking hits, shedding tires, and continuing to fight thanks to run-flats and 6-wheel drive. The vehicle's service life is a map of post-imperial conflict. In Borneo, the dense jungle limited where a wheeled car could go, so Saladins mainly escorted convoys and held static fire support positions. In Dhofar, Oman, they faced rockets, mines, and ambushes in blistering heat. Again, they were repaired and returned to action. Saladins fought with Kuwaiti forces during Iraq's 1990 invasion, and late into the 21st century, examples turn up on videos from Central America or Africa. More than 20 nations bought the type: West Germany, notably its Federal Border Guard, Jordan, Honduras, the UAE, Indonesia, Kuwait, and others. Total production is commonly listed at around 1,100 to 1,200 vehicles built between 1958 and the early 1970s. How did Saladin compare to contemporary rivals? The French Panhard AML-90 offered a lighter, cheaper alternative with a 90mm low-pressure gun that excelled at anti-armor in a heat roll and sold in huge numbers. On paper, the AML's armor-penetrating heat round had impressive penetration figures. In practice, the AML was a light, fast scout with limited protection. The Saladin traded that raw penetration and theater speed for survivability, endurance, and heavier HE firepower. The Soviets fielded BRDM-2s with machine guns and ATGMs in later years. These had amphibious capability and different doctrine: find, withdraw, and avoid contact, whereas the Saladin was built to fight for the road. The Saladin would not be mistaken for a main battle tank. No NBC overpressure system, no gun stabilizer, and no composite armor. It was late, under-armored by later standards, and petrol-engined when diesels were becoming the norm. Yet it succeeded because Alvis and the designers understood real war, not only theoretical performance charts. The Rolls-Royce engine would run on poor fuel. The 6-wheel drive would keep moving when others died. The 76mm HESH meant the Saladin could smash dug-in positions, blow through compound walls, and make a modestly armored technical think twice. Its successors split its roles. The FV601 Scorpion light tank and the FV601 Fox wheeled car each took parts of what the Saladin had done:
tracked mobility and heavy reconnaissance, respectively, but neither matched the Saladin's blend of protection, firepower, and export resilience. The Saladin's global afterlife was long. By the 2010s, a handful of modernized Saladins remained operational in parts of Africa and Asia, receiving local upgrades like diesel engine swaps or modern radios. There is another measure of cultural survival. The Saladin became a childhood toy as well as a combat vehicle, produced as Corgi and Dinky models and immortalized in matchbox sets, making it a machine that entered both museums and playgrounds. The FV601 looked like a mistake the day it rolled out, a tank gun mounted on tires. It was 12 years late to the post-war scramble and, by modern standards, under-equipped in some respects. No night vision, no composite armor, no automated fire control. But for a very particular kind of war, convoys, desert patrols, colonial roads, and urban fire support, it worked. It kept going when simpler machines broke. It hit hard when other armored cars only scared. It survived because the designers built for reliability and versatility rather than the clean lines of a parade ground. If you're enjoying these deep dives into the machines that shaped post-war warfare, hit subscribe. It helps the channel keep digging for the stories behind the metal. The Saladin wasn't elegant. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't pretty. It was practical. It was British. And when it mattered, it worked.